All right, so we have a start of the new week in Bitcoin. This one's going to be a very quick video. There's only a couple things I kind of wanted to go over. So, start of the new week, we finally got a break of this count because I know that there was other technical analysts that were actually looking at this TD sequential and kind of maybe potentially trying to time the top based off of this count. And it, because we had 1 9, another 9, and then this would have been 7, 8, and then we would have had another, next week would have been a 9 week if this count would have held up. And it actually didn't hold up. And I'm actually kind of happy because now we're potentially getting this area of consolidation that I had continuously been talking about. I wanted consolidation. I wanted consolidation. We kind of, I mean, just the count restarting and us finally getting a red number after, multiple weeks, right? Ever since September of 2020, we essentially had 24, almost a half of a year, 6 months of just continuous price action. Yeah, we had a couple pullbacks in here, but I mean, with respect to the TD sequential, we just had a continuous run up, and we were about to get another 9 if this would have been a 7, 8, and 9 next week. But we closed lower. The way this count is we have a red one here because price closed below the close of the prior prior four candles. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That close was 57.49. We closed at 57.363. So that gave us our red one. I'm actually happy about this. Shows potentially we have some early consolidation. If I'm looking at just our moving averages, so we got a 1 and we got a green 1. Our moving averages are starting to, we're still trending up, which is actually good. If you look back at 2017, we still kind of were trending up. We did have this red one this 1 week, but that was a 26% drop. We really haven't had a big, we've had some days that have moved, where we had some big moves, but we haven't had this like massive $10,000 day yet. This was almost $4,000 day. This day was actually pretty big. This was a $7,500 day. It was a 19% move, almost 20% move. That was probably the biggest day that we've had this whole run up as far as dollar-wise, $7,500 run-up. Yeah, so once we get our very first $10,000 day, then I'll actually maybe start potentially looking at potential highs for this cycle. But we haven't got it yet. We got to restart an account, which is actually really good. Let's look at our Lucid SAR for the week because that's something I usually look at. And we ticked up. We're at 48,396. Technically, we could drop there, and that would actually be based on historical price action and the way this stop and reversal indicator works. In a Bitcoin bull market, that's usually a buy the dip. So if we get, that would be a $9,000 drop from here, from current prices. As far as a dip goes, that would be a 21% dip, 22% dip, which is from the high, which is perfectly in line with a pullback in a bull cycle. It would be kind of soon since we kind of just had one. We had this one, which was 26%. That would be 1, 2, 3, maybe a month after, but it's still definitely in line with what's possible. Now, are we going to get a pullback? Like I said, we're potentially getting now we're getting some sort of consolidation. Let's pull up these Fibonacci's again. I know we have one. Here we go. So I did say that we were potentially, oh, no. This is not the one I want to pull up. There's another one, and it's not this one. It might be an older one. Where are we at? Not this one. Not this one either. Yeah, it was this one. This is the one. So, because I said that we could potentially be ranging between these levels, right here, between 51 and 61. And, we could wick down to that 48 area, that stop and reversal point. But, I'm not going to say that I'm 100% really like that idea. Let's see where our RSI is just to go over. We're kind of trending down with higher highs. That's bearish divergence. On the daily, we're doing the same thing. Bearish divergence on the 4-hour, kind of the same thing. We still haven't, let's see. I think on the hourly, we actually went oversold, and that was actually a good indication to buy right here, right there. Traditionally, we've kind of gone up. We hit a 9. We're starting our reversal area. This would be this right here, the lower of this 1, since we had an exhaustion point, and then this 1. That'll be a support area, so right around 56,000. I'm not sure exactly what the market's doing right now. I haven't looked at the futures prices yet, but you can kind of see, so we're between like 54 and 61. So this could be our ranging area. This looks like this could be potentially a symmetric triangle or just a triangle in general. Something that we can draw. So we have kind of a downward trend line here, and then we have another kind of trend line right here. Right there. Not, kind of like, it's really not a symmetric triangle, but it's a triangle nonetheless. So yeah, I mean, someone could say that this is also like a pennant, because we have this run up, and then you would call this target. I like to draw triangles, so I'm going to say that this is a triangle. I'm going to say if we potentially break our breakout area, we're kind of already past there. So our breakout would be, if we waited all the way till the end, they usually break much earlier, say here, somewhere around a little bit over 60,000, so 6,500. I mean 65,000. Is there any indication that we're getting some? Let's look at something that will give us some sort of indication of a consolidation, and that would be the Bollinger Bands. I want to look at that on the weekly. Even though we had our very first weekly flip of a count, I'm still going to pull them up just to kind of look at them. Yeah, so that's that's not going to really tell us anything. Daily, that's starting to compress a little bit. 4-hour, yeah. Hourly, a little bit. Let's look at the Bollinger Band width. That's probably a better indication. That's starting to trend down, which is good on the smaller time frame. 4-hour, yeah. So we're getting what we're seeing here is we're definitely seeing consolidation. I mean, the 4-hour is definitely telling us that there's some consolidation, because this is starting to trend down lower. And where does it go before we actually get a breakout or movement of price? I can go all the way to 0, but ever since 2020, we've been getting close to 0, and then we've been getting some volatility. Let's look at it on the daily. Daily, it's trending down. So we're getting it's getting less volatile. Let's look at it compared to the previous cycle. I'm not going to go back too far, but this is 2017. We did see a decrease in volatility, but it doesn't look as nice as this one, if I'm being honest. Look at this. We have a peak, less of a peak. So even these run-ups, they're getting less aggressive. Definitely doesn't look like 2017. I mean, this does. There's high volatility here, but that was a crash in 15 whenever price really got low. That wasn't the bottom. That was in November. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. So yeah, if I'm looking at it on a longer time frame, some volatility up, but this was upward movement. Less volatility here, and then all through 2017, it finally peaked above it. But we're getting less volatility signal. Let's look at it on the weekly. Oh, yeah, weekly, it's kind of trending down. This could be the first, I guess. Okay, so this could be the first pulse of volatility, right? Here. This was in June. And then looks like we had a pullback. Volatility went down still, and then it dropped out here. And then October, we had 2 more months of bullish price action. And that was the peak. So have we reached a volatility as high as the last one? No. So this could be where we kind of have some lower volatility for, say, the next couple of weeks, which would be very good. Let's see what type of price movement we had as we were going down. 18%, 60% drop. This was a larger drop. There was still some, I say lower volatility. It's lower volatility with respect to Bitcoin. So we could be coming down. Say we reach this area. So 1.5 or 1.6. Yeah, so we have a couple of weeks of some lower volatility. That's good. That's like accumulation. I have seen some articles saying that we could be in a potential area of the second accumulation of this bull cycle where we get some sideways action. And if I'm being honest, if we go between, what did I say, 54 based on the daily, well, it looks like we're starting to, was it the daily or the 4 hours? I think it was the 4 hour. Yeah, the 4 hours. So like 50, no, right here. Right here. 54 to 61. But in all honesty, if we do go to where this Fibonacci is in this range, I still would not be, I wouldn't be worried, right? Between 51 and 61, that's just us ranging. It doesn't break any sort of, it doesn't break the overall trend of us in an upward momentum for this bull cycle. This 3 week isn't even flattening out yet. The daily, if we got the 8 intermediary, so the 8 below the 30 with price below that, then yeah, we could be seeing some sort of larger pullback, but still wouldn't be 100% definite because we got it here where the 8 was below the 30 and price closed below it, but then that was kind of the bottom. Let's look at our funding rate. Maybe our funding rate is actually starting to show. Yeah, so it's still net positive. The 4 hour went negative, which is good. And then this one is kind of flattening out, which is good. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. We've had areas in 2017 where it flattened out. It peaked, went negative. That was good. We've kind of been on a peak and then we're going down. And then it went negative, but here, that was towards the back end of a pullback. Even here. So there's not, we're fine. I don't see anything signaling that we're entering the bear cycle. And plus, I still think we're still mid-cycle. Yeah, so that's about it. I did want to go over some other stuff because I had talked about them last week. So I went over Drive Shack and said that if we broke out, I'd be more than happy to take a position. We did break out. I was more than happy to take a position. Around 340, we went up. I saw weakness in the price action, kind of really in the CMF, if I remember correctly, on the hourly, even though I say that I don't trade it that much. This is showing exactly what you kind of want to see whenever you see a breakout. We're in a range. We break out. We come back and we retest. But if I'm looking at the TD sequential, this is a larger reversal candle. We have an 8. We have a 9. I do have a rule whenever I trade the TD sequential, and that is to never enter a trade, no matter what the asset is, no matter how well I think other things look. I never ever enter a trade on a TD9 at all. So I entered, I exited twice. The first entry was around, I believe, 280, and it went up, and I exited around 345, and then I got back in 340, exited like 356, 360, somewhere around there. It wasn't a big return, but like I said, I'm not trying to catch the top. I'm trying to be profitable. I was profitable on both those trades. So we're going to have a 9 tomorrow, potentially, unless futures are really low. I haven't checked them. This would have to go below 336, and it's perfectly possible. Let's see where we're at on the futures. Yeah, so right now the markets are down as far as futures goes pre-market and stuff like that. So yeah, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. I am no longer in this. I'm just gonna wait. TLRY also showed some weakness, but I had talked about it that we were out, or that I was out because we broke below this 30 MA, and this thing's been really good. We did have some upward price action, but then it failed to break it. We're back down until price gets back above this 30 MA. I'm not going to try to take a position. We are going to get a 9, so we could see a sell-off here, and we break down to these lower prices of like 21 or 20. Depending on what our indicators show, we are getting this bullish divergence, even kind of price going sideways overall, with increase in the CMF. You kind of see it on the daily as well. Big price movement up. Or big movement up in the CMF. This is kind of just on the weekly, just moving with the price, coming down with the price. So we just got to be cautious. I still do think this is going to be a big year for marijuana stocks, but as of right now, I am neutral to bearish, enough to where I'm not in a position. So I think that's about it. That was the trades I was in. You're kind of just watching them. That's the advantage of learning how to trade on your own, because I say something here, you could watch it, and then tomorrow morning, after the first hour of trading, it could change, and I could be entering positions, or whoever your preferred trader to watch is. Trading's dynamic, so and there's always analysis being reran, and traders can quickly change their minds, enter and exit positions, become short or long or just neutral. So that's what I'm seeing here on Bitcoin. A little bit of consolidation, something I've been waiting to see for a while, and I'm actually kind of happy we're seeing it. So I think that's it. We can pull up the hash ribbons real quick. These are based on the daily, so I'll go to the daily. They look fine, nothing crazy. Is there anything here that I want to show as far as... We can look at our pi cycle. I talked about that last week. Added that on this chart. We haven't crossed yet. There is going to be top indicators that break down this cycle, and we'll see which ones those are. RSI on the monthly, I think we're not even... we're at 91. We were at 93 at one point because we had came up so quickly, but looking for 95 is what I'm looking for. We're close. We're at 91, but it's going to take a little while for this to move up. We're 95 here, dropped, and then we pulsed up. Just because we get 95 doesn't necessarily mean it's at the end of the cycle. This kind of really marked the mid-cycle, or this was August 8th. This was August, the 8th month, so we had 4 more months of upside. But we're about halfway through this cycle, I think. So got to be mindful. We'll see how everything goes. That's about it. This was pretty short. Thanks for watching.